Fitchorn. Today is October 6th. We are in week 8 and we are getting ready to create a concert poster, and I am showing you how to edit images in Photopea for your poster. So I have Photopea open and I'm going to find some photos that I've uploaded using a couple of the different tutorials and maybe some images I've already pre-edited and layering them together. And one thing I want to show you how to do is cut out one image and put it into another, just in case you want to do that. So first of all, I'm going to open up an image I recently completed of Post Malone. So I'm going to go ahead and go down here to where I know he's hanging out. Let's see, I think I will take the one where he is saturated, JPEG. You have to open a JPEG. You can't open it up anything else but JPEGs in Photopea. And what I'm going to go ahead and do, yes, I've got the saturated version, is I'm going to show you guys how to cut out. There's a couple different ways that you can erase a background from somebody, and it really depends on what you're fastest at, and it really depends on the object that you're using, because sometimes some objects it's easier to do one thing, and sometimes with objects it's easier to do another. So you're just going to have to practice makes perfect is all I can say. Usually I tell you to make a duplicate, but in this case, if I cut out the background and make a duplicate, well, the background will still be this background because the duplicate background's behind it. So I'm going to just keep it like that. The first tool I'm going to show you on the palette is the Lasso Tool. And there's a couple different kinds of lasso tools, and I usually prefer the magnetic lasso tool, but in Photopea it's a little tricky to use. So then there's another lasso tool, and essentially what it does is it lassos an object for you to select it, and I'll show you different things you can do with that. So the first thing we're going to do is click the lasso tool, and it's telling us right here, here's the lasso tool, and there's a couple different settings including unite, subtract, intersect. But for right now, I'm going to add a little bit of a feather because there's some hair going on here, and if you lasso and cut this out too much, you're going to get a really strange effect. Now again, remember to zoom in is Command or Control plus, zoom out is Command or Control minus. So let's test that out. Command plus, Command plus, Command plus. Oh, okay, so that's weird. Hold on one second, folks. For some reason it's zooming the tool boards instead of post. I don't know what that's all about. Let's try this again. Command plus, there he goes. Command plus, Command plus. But if you make it too big, you won't be able to get all the edges. So make sure that the area that you want to lasso, it's just like throwing a rope around an object. Make sure that's in the screen. I'm going to lasso Post Malone, and always remember where you start because you have to end up clicking back to where you started. So the lasso tool, if you click and drag, left click and drag, left click and drag, you kind of see how you have to kind of go slow because I'm going fast, and look at what a mucky mess I'm making. I'm just going fast to make the tutorial go faster. You need to go slower. If you don't take your time in cutting this object out, it's going to show in your editing. It's going to look horrible. So please take your time on this. Don't be a Fitchorn. Okay, as I lasso around, you'll notice that I'm back here. I click down again, and oh boy, that was fun. That disappeared. So let's try one more time. This time I'm just gonna lasso really quickly, guys. I can't figure out why my lasso disappeared. All right. Oh, there it is. So you want to get these marching ants, because with the marching ants, once you click in the right space, or you end up connecting back to where you started, you're going to get these marching ants. And what that means is this is the area that you would clip. So pretend I did an actually good job and not this sloppy, horrible, lazy job that I've just done trying to rush through this. If I were right now to hit delete, look at what happens. I cut him out, but you're going, but Fitchorn, I want to cut the background out. How do I get the background out of here? I don't want to cut out Post Malone. I want to cut out the background. So I'm going to undo, Command Z. You have to inverse your selection. This is your selection, and you have to inverse it. So if you go up to the select, get it? This is your selection. So you go up to select. We want to inverse that. right? You want the background. There we go. And then when you hit delete, now look at that. All right, cool. But now notice before we go on to the next step, you still have these marching ants, these little tiny lines. You have to get that off of there or you're never ever going to be able to move forward. Photopea will not work for you. Photoshop will not work for you. You cannot leave the marching ants. So the quickest way to get out of marching ants is to go to select, deselect, and then look at all the marching ants go bye-bye. You're going Fitchhorn. What about all that? Let's say you've used Lasso Tool and you've got muck. Well, that's the next tool to get rid of backgrounds. You can also erase backgrounds. So you can find the eraser tool right here. It looks like an eraser. Who knew? That's pretty logical, right? To make an icon of an eraser for the eraser tool. And the size of the eraser should match the size of the object that needs to be erased, or area that needs to be erased. So change the size of the tool so you can carefully trace around edges you want to erase. And I would definitely not leave the eraser at 100% hardness unless you're like maybe erasing out buildings or things with sharp edges. People tend to, you know, skin is soft, hair is soft. Maybe the jacket you'd want a nice hard tool, but let me show you in this area what a hard eraser does. So it does that. It's like a perfect circle, like a hole punched, whereas a soft eraser, dun, 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 does more, again, that blendy. See, blendy. So for hair areas and skin areas, you probably want like a nice soft erase. Don't get too close to the edge. Because of the feathering, if you get too close to the edge of an object, it will look really bad. You'll start erasing out actual face and stuff. But maybe that's not good enough for you. Maybe you want to see what it looks like with a nice hard edge, so that way it looks really pro. Go nice and slow so you don't cut off like any important features, right? And then clean up all the muck that the lasso didn't take care of. All right, you could see. And then you would just want to use the hand tool to move. Doink, doink. Again, use the eraser tool. So that's another way you can get rid of background, is the eraser tool. It works good for cleaning up selections and for making a nice, again, if I've got the eraser set at hard, it gives this nice clean edge and not the super fuzzy edge that the feathering of the lasso tool gave us, which I thought would be great for the hair, because sometimes when you cut out hair, it looks horrible. What you want to do is see with the hair, the feathering's great, because then it doesn't look like it, you know, you use scissors to cut it out. It's just, again, sometimes it's, unfortunately, you might have to get a smaller eraser and kind of get in and erase out bits and pieces to get it more authentic, right? Oopsie. Yeah, don't do this. Don't do that. Post has a flat top. Okay, just kidding. Post doesn't have a flat top. All right. And so there we go. So this is important, you guys. This is the most important step. Let's pretend that I did a good job and I want to save it to plop onto another background. You have to save it. First of all, name your file. Last name, first initial, underscore. I'm going to call this the lasso tool, or should I call it cutout? I'm going to call this one lasso tool because we use the lasso tool to cut out post. All right, and then, so check this out. Once I've renamed it, I can save it as, this is important, you have to save it as a PNG, which is called a ping. If you save it as a JPEG, you are going to get a white box again. And after all that trouble, really, honestly, do you want to do that to yourself? I don't think so. So you click ping and it will download after you choose high quality. Now watch this. So let's say I want post floating in a rainbow sky. So I'm going to open up another photo by going File, Open, and I know I specifically saved a bunch of different cloud images that I changed using the gradient tool we learned about today. Okay, it opens up in a new window, see? Fitchhorn gradient tool. And I am going to place post in here. Watch this. You go File, Open, and Place. If you go File, Open, it'll open off to the side, but you want to place it. So you have to go File, Open, and Place. And I'm going to find post, the floating post picture that I did, and it's a ping right there. All right, I'm looking for the PNG ending. PNG means ping. And there he is. And notice that now I can make him be like, hey, what's up, dudes? Right? I can like just have him right there. And funny thing is, you can make him bigger or smaller by pulling on the anchors in the corners by holding the shift key. And the reason why you have to hold the shift key is so that he doesn't do this. If I see any of this, you guys, no, instant fail. If I see any of you guys doing, let's see, oops. I lost my anchor, so let me show you how to stretch them doing anchors. Once you're on, notice this is my background layer, this is my post layer. Now you have to go edit, transform, scale, because scaling means going up and down in size. I don't want to see this. All right, no way, Jose. No stretching allowed ever. All right, I don't know what the original proportions were, but if you want to scale them, hold the shift key. All right, there we go. And now, if you want to make copies, I would go ahead and just go watch this. Command J, look, there's a second copy. Where did it go? Use your move tool up here. It looks like an arrow at the very top of your toolbar. And there's more posts. How much better can we have? 2 posts? Yeah, let's try 3 posts. Command J. Again, where'd he go? Where's the 3rd post? There he is. Okay. He's like, hey, what's up? All right, and then watch how you can rotate one of your objects. So you click on one of the objects, and again, whichever layer you're on is the object you're going to be able to transform. So make sure you're on the right layer. See over here, you have to make sure you make active the right layer. So I'm going to make this one, the one where he's in the corner, my active layer, and I'll transform by go edit, transform. I want to rotate, right? Do. So now we have posts coming in here. You think that you are better now, better now. Sorry, I couldn't resist you guys. So change the name of the file so you don't overwrite on the, I don't want to overwrite my gradient sky. I want to keep that separate. So you have to rename your project. So this one's going to be post in sky. All right. Okay. And there's other things we can do too, but I'll teach that in a later tutorial. So now you learned how to place a cut object into another background. I hope that helped. Have fun, guys.